Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We are going to discuss about the fire technology and arson investigation, or also known as CDI6, okay, or crime detection investigation 6. Before we proceed to the main topics, let's first go to the introduction, okay, introduction of this subject. So first, what is the meaning of arson? Okay, the arson is the criminal act of deliberately setting fire to property. When you say deliberately setting fire to property, meaning gituyo, diba? Pinagplanuhan, may intention na sunugin yung property, diba? May kagustuhan na sunugin yung property regardless if he is the owner or not, diba? When you say may kagustuhan, siya mismo ang may willingness na sunugin ang property. Okay? Now, it is a criminal act. Okay? It is a criminal act because it is destructive. Diba? Not just in terms of destruction to property, but also na ay possibility nga destruction of life. Diba? Extinction of life. Diba? Kay base hindi ay nga pagsunog niya sa property na ay tao sa sulod na trap na sunog ug apil. So therefore, aside sa pagsunog niya sa property, nadugangan pag ito gravity ang iyang offense by what? By the death of the innocent person na nakulong dito, di ba? Or na-trap dito sa property. Another definition is that any person who burns or set fire to the property of another shall be punished by prison mayor. The same penalty shall be imposed when a person sets fire to his own property under circumstances which expose to danger to life and property of another. That is according to Presidential Decree 1613. Okay? So therefore, arson ang tawag ana sa isa ka criminal act or isa ka illegal action nga pagsunog, diba? Pagsunog or mag-set ng fire sa property of another. Okay? And the punishment is the prison mayor. Aside from that, same penalty gihapon na ni-impose sa tao na nag-set fire to his own property. So just like what I said earlier, arson gyapon ang tawag sa criminal act nga magsunog og property regardless of ikaw ba ang tagniya or hindi, di ba? Ikaw ba yung may-ari or hindi. So this is very common. Kining statement that the same penalty shall be imposed when a person sets fire to his own property, it is very common in terms of kanang mga gusto nila makuha ang ilang insurance, diba? They wanted to get their insurance, no? From their company. Samot na kung company nila is tagilid na, diba? Kasagaran ana ang ilang buhaton is sunugon nila ang ilang property or ilang business establishment or building just so they can get the insurance that they wanted. No, maone ang ilang ginabuhat. Ipalabas lang nila nga incident ang nahitabo. When you say incident, wala tuyua, di ba? Insidente, no? Or walay plano nga sunugon daw ang place or ang building, right? So kadali lang ha. Now let's go to the definition of fire, no? Since we already established the definition of arson, diba? When you say fire, it is a combustion of burning in which substances combine chemically with oxygen from the air and typically give out bright light, heat, and smoke. So that is fire, okay? When you say combustion, meaning kompleto na yung tatlong elements. Diba? Tatlong elemento in order for this combustible material to burn. Diba? To set fire. So, maon na siya ang fire. Okay? Meaning, when you say fire, it is a combustion of burning. It is the state of the combustible material na nag-burn na siya, nasunog na siya. Okay? Now let's go to properties of fire. Okay. Now A, the physical properties. First, we have the specific gravity. When you say the specific gravity, the ratio of the weight of the solid and liquid substance to the weight of the equal or of an equal volume of water. So that is specific gravity. Ang vapor naman, density. Vapor density, the weight of a volume of pure gas composed to the volume of dry air at the same temperature and pressure. Vapor pressure, the force exerted by the molecules on the surface of a liquid. Ang temperature, the measure of the degree of thermal agitation of molecules. Manong temperature. Kanang heat nga ato, kanang heat nga nag-radiate coming from the fire, coming from the flame, that is the temperature. Okay? Kanang kainit nga imuhang gibate tungod sa kalayo, tungod sa gina-radiate nga heat coming from the fire, coming from the nasusunog na bagay. That is what we call temperature. Boiling point, the constant temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to the atmospheric pressure. Boiling point, no, that is the highest temperature where the water boils. No, where the water boils. Muna siya, kanamukulo na gid ang tubig. Ana. Ignition or kindling temperature, the minimum temperature at which the substance must be heated in order to initiate combustion. No, just like sa matches, posporo, di ba? Ang kindling temperature is the exact temperature nga ma-create sa matchstick upon sa friction niya sa kanang kilid sa match. Di ba? Kanang kilid sa posporo ba? Di ba? Kung asa na to siya kiskison para maka-create tag flame, para mag-ignite siya, mao na ang kindling temperature, no? Because ang friction manggod is nag-create siya, di ba? When you say friction is ang pagbangga o pag-slide sa duha ka object, di ba? Now, kapag kana sila, just like sa imong kamot good, if you are going to create friction sa imong kamot, imo na siyang lihokon ka pa sa nang kung gipanugnaw ka, di ba? Imuhan nang ipagbangga o ikiskis imuhang kamot, di ba? So, di ba maka-create siya init, just like that, di ba? Just like that, it creates a kindling or kindling temperature that is enough for it to ignite. Mo na siya. Ang fire point naman, the lowest temperature of a liquid in an open container at which vapors are evolved fast enough to support combustion. Ang flash point, the temperature at which a flammable liquid forms a vapor-air mixture that ignites. So that is the flash point. Okay? Now let's go to chemical properties. We have endothermic reaction, we have exothermic reactions, we have oxidation, and flames. Okay. First, we have endothermic reactions. Endothermic reactions changes whereby energy or heat is absorbed and is added before the reaction takes place. For example, sa gasol, okay, sa gasol or sa gas range. Kapag nasunog na ang entire building, tapos diabot sa kusina, tapos niabot na ang kalayo sa kusina where asa na-locate ang gasol ninyo, dili man na siya automatically nga mo explode, di ba? It takes time for it nga mo explode. How? By endothermic reaction, no? By transferring sa energy or heat coming from the flame, coming from the fire, di ba? Kapag ang fire na-expose niya og dugay ang gasol, muinit ng gasol, di ba? Muinit ang gasol, unsa day content sa gasol? Gas, di ba? Gas. Now, kapag muinit na ang gasol, mao na ang ang heat nga gina-absorb sa gasol coming from the fire. Okay? Now, kapag ma-reach na niya ang iyang peak, di ba? Ma-reach na niya iyang limit, di ba? Yang highest point temperature, that is the only time nga naa na kay reaction nga makita. That is the time the reaction takes place where mo explode na ang gasol. Where the explosion happens. Mo na siya ang endothermic reaction. The heat is absorbed before the reaction takes place. Okay? Mura lang kung ikaw na habang murag imong temperament ba, habang pwede pa nimo utungon, habang pwede pa nimo palampason, go. Palampason nimo. But as time goes by, kapag murag perminti na ka, ginaabuso, di ba? Moingon gay mo nga ang timba na pupuno bisan tulo lang na sa tubig, di ba? So inana lang siya ba? Mapuno ka, musabog pud ka. So that is an example of endothermic reaction. Di ba? Mao na siya. Now let's go to exothermic reactions. Ang exothermic reactions, those that release or give off energy or heat, thus they produce substances with less energy than the reactants. Now, ang exothermic reactions naman, these are the heat coming from the material na nasusunog. Opposite siya sa endothermic. Ang exothermic naman, let's just say that na may combustible material na nasusunog, di ba? The combustion took place na, di ba? So naanay nasusunog. Now that heat nga nag-radiate coming from the fire, coming from the flame, mauna ang exothermic reaction. Mauna ang energy na gina-release niya. That is the heat nga imong gina-feel. Di ba? Mauna ang exothermic. Mauna yung gina-release. Now, ang endothermic naman mo itong gina-absorb. Okay? Take note of that. Unsay difference sa duha. Endothermic, absorb. Exothermic, gina-release niya. Okay? Now, ang oxidation naman is a chemical change that is exothermic. Now, take note, ang exothermic is gina-release niya or give off energy. So, therefore, ang oxidation is exothermic, meaning a change in which combustible material, let's just say the fuel, and an oxidizing agent or air react. Okay? Now, mauna siya ang oxidation. Okay? Kapag mag-unite na si combustible material, si fuel, and si oxidizing agent, the air, mauna ng reaction nga mahitabo, oxidation. Okay? Now, ang flames naman, flames are incandescent gases. Okay? Flames are incandescent gases. It is a combustion product and a manifestation of fire when it is in its gas-phase combustion. Okay? Take note of that. It is a combustion product and a manifestation of fire when it is in its gas-phase combustion. Now let's go to types of flames. Okay? Now first, based on color and completeness of combustibility of fuel. Okay? We have two types, the luminous flame and the non-luminous flame. Unsay kalahian sa duha? Luminous flame is orange-red. Deposit soot at the bottom of the vessel being heated due to incomplete combustion and has a low temperature. What is the example of this? Example ani is the kandila. Okay, the candles, the lamp, kanang lampara nga ginakuanan nato kanang common ni siya sa mga bukid, di ba? Una siya. Unsa pa ba? anything na nagaproduce og soot. When you say soot, kanang anuos, kanang ganing murag black smoke nga mupilit diha sa mga dingding, sa kesame, kung madugay og expose, mo na siya. That is luminous flame. You can identify it right after seeing or identifying the color of the flame. Kung orange-red gani ang color, that is luminous flame. Okay? Ang luminous flame is the product of incomplete combustion. Okay? Now, ang non-luminous flame naman is color blue. Okay? There is complete combustion of fuel and has relatively high temperature. Ang example ani is kanaganing sa Bunsen burner kanang nasa laboratory, inside nakahinumdum during sa inyong science sa high school, kanang mag-laboratory activity mo. Diba, kung naamoy pabukalon, diba, naamoy kind of gamay siya nga stove nga ang yahang burner is gamay siya. Kung dito ninyo painiton ang graduated cylinder or ang beaker para ang chemical nga inyong gimix is mag-boil, di ba? Now, ang color sa iyahang flame is blue. That is the product of complete combustion. Now, take note or take notice sa mga nabalita o nababalita na mga properties or even residences na nasusunog. Diba? Kapag blue ang color, meaning it is a complete combustion, meaning init kina siya. Okay? It has a high temperature. So therefore, mas usog, mas uptake, mas dali ang pagkalat sa kalayo. Diba? Ang luminous flame, it is a product of incomplete combustion. Kapag orange-red na ang color ana, meaning nasunog na ang combustible materials. Now, based on fuel and air mixture, we have pre-mixed flame and diffusion flame. Ang pre-mixed flame is exemplified by a Bunsen-type laboratory burner where hydrocarbon or any substance containing primarily carbon and hydrogen is thoroughly mixed with air before reaching the flame zone. Okay, that is pre-mixed flame. Take note, Bunsen-type laboratory burner, meaning color blue, non-luminous flame ang gina-create ani niya nga flame. Okay? Ang diffusion type naman is observed when gas or fuel alone is forced through a nozzle into the atmosphere, which diffuses in the surrounding atmosphere in order to form a flammable mixture. The candle flame is an example of diffusion flame governed purely by molecular diffusion, and the flame of the oxyacetylene torch. Okay? Now, ang diffusion flame is a luminous flame. It is a color or orange-red flame, no? Again, ang example niya is kandila. Okay? Ang premix flame, ang example niya is the Bunsen-type laboratory burner. Now, let's go to based on smoothness. We have laminar flame and turbulent flame. Now, ang laminar flame, when a particle follows a smooth path through a gaseous flame, that is laminar flame. No, take notice sa kandila na kanang steady lang kayo siya. Smooth lang kayo ang iyang features, yung texture, di ba? Regardless of what color na siya, luminous or non-luminous na siya, or premix or diffused flame ba siya. As long as smooth path ang iyang gina-follow, meaning di kanang naka-steady lang siya, mo ng laminar flame. Now, ang turbulent flame naman are those having unsteady, irregular flows. Mo ning example ani sa kadaning kandila nga perminti maigot sa hangin, di ba? So mo na siya, unsteady and irregular flow, or kanang paupos na, mo na siya, or kusog kaing hangin, mo na siya. Okay? As physical size, gas density, or velocity is increased, all laminar gas flows tend to become turbulent. Now let's go to classification of combustible materials. We have Class A fuels, Class B fuels, Class C fuels, and Class D fuels. Ang Class A fuel, they are ordinary combustible materials that are usually made of organic substances such as wood and wood-based products, just like the furnitures that are made of wood. It includes some synthetic or organic materials like rubber, leather, and plastic products na present sa ato ang mga appliances, sa ato ang living room, di ba? And anywhere sa ato ang panimalay. So that are the example of Class A fuels. Ang Class B fuel naman, materials that are in form of flammable liquids such as alcohol, acidic solutions, oil and liquid petroleum products, and etc. That is the example of Class B fuel. No, take note of that. Flammable liquids. Ang Class A, organic substances. No? Organic and synthetic substances. Ang Class C fuel naman, they are normally fire-resistant materials such as materials used on electrical, wiring, and other electrical appliances. Muna ang mga Class C fuel that it takes time for the fire na masunog sila because it is made of fire-resistant materials. Mauning mga rubbers or kind of rubber yung ginagamit sa wire sa ato ang aircon, wire sa ato ang refrigerator, wire sa ato washing machine, kanang mga heavy murag mga dagkog kaon nga mga appliances, di ba? Take notice sa ilang texture sa ilang wiring, di ba? Baga ang ilang wiring. So that is the Class C fuel. Ang Class D fuel naman, they are combustible metallic substances such as magnesium, titanium, zirconium, sodium, and potassium. Na mga na ning mga minerals, di ba? Combustible metallic substances. Now, let's go to classification of gases. Now, first, based on source, we have natural gas and manufactured gas. Ang natural gas usually mixed with compounds of foul-smelling elements like sulfur, so gas leaks can be detected. Munang mga natural gas. Muna ganang nasa mga bundok-bundok, nga pag masimutan nila ang sulfur, so meaning na ay natural gas coming from that specific area. Diba? Kanang sa mga volcanoes, diba? Present or they are rich of elements like sulfur. Diba? Muna sila. Ang manufactured gas naman, this gas like synthetic liquid fuels is used chiefly where certain fuels are abundant and others are scarce. When you say scarce, meaning dili rampant ba, opposite sa rampant, opposite sa talamak, di ba? Nihit kaayo, ana ba? Now, according to physical properties, we have compressed gas and liquefied gas and cryogenic gas. Okay? Ang compressed gas, gas in which at all normal temperature inside its container exists solely in the gaseous state under pressure. No, from the name itself, naka-compress siya. Okay, naa siya sa sulod sa container. Liquefied gas, gas which at normal temperature inside its container exists partly in the liquid state and partly in gaseous state and under pressure as long as any liquid remains in the container. Liquefied gas. Ang cryogenic gas naman is a liquefied gas which exists in its container at temperature far below normal atmospheric temperature. So mga nasa negative ang yung temperature. Usually slightly above its boiling point and correspondingly low to moderate pressure. Okay? Now, according to usage naman, fuel gases, industrial gases, and medical gases. Okay, I think medical gases. Yes, medical gases. Fuel gases, these are flammable gases usually used for burning with air to produce heat, usually as power, light, comfort, and process. Mana siya ang fuel gas. Okay? Ginagamit siya para mag-produce heat, di ba? Para to give comfort, just like pagbugnaw ang mga panahon. Di ba? Magsunog mo, mag-bonfire mo, kaya naamo sa tunga-tunga sa forest. Di ba? Tugnaw kaayo and you wanted comfort coming from the cold air. Di ba? From the cold weather. Sometimes, it utilizes as power. Diba? Ang industrial gases naman, this group includes a large number of gases used for industrial processes as those in welding and cutting, refrigeration, chemical processing, water treatment. Mga industrial gases. This type of gas is ginagamit siya sa mga industries, no? Sa mga manufacturers, sa mga sa pa ba? Sa mga companies, diba? Kanang during mag-welding, mag-cutting, kanang even the refrigeration, diba kana. And last, we have medical gases. Those used for treatment such as anesthesia, respiratory therapy. Okay, mo na siyang medical gas. So this is according to usage. So these are the four types of gases according to usage. Now, next meeting, we are going to discuss about nuclear fuels. Okay? And so on. So, diri sa tataman, ako sa nang i-stop,